This could be Niger if it wasn't for the French colonizers sucking their natural resources. Well, that's not the case. Before we start, a little background information about Niger. It is a landlocked country in the middle of Africa. It is one of the poorest countries in the world and half the population live in extreme poverty. And it was a colony of France till the 1960s. And as with most countries colonized by France, they hate the French. Rightfully so, since their most strategic resources are controlled by the French to this day, creating widespread resentment which became even more vocalized during the recent coup.
We have uranium, we have diamonds, we have gold, we have oil, and we live like slaves? Why should we? Until when? We can't accept it.
This mentality is very common, however it is very dangerous and it misses the point. Why, you ask? Let me break it down for you. Niger's number one export product is uranium, which makes up 1/3 of their exports and is valued around 157 million USD per year. Then comes petroleum, followed by gold. If you combine Niger's export of uranium, gold and oil, it comes to around about 350 million USD in total for a year. And that is around 80% of their export. First of all, $350 million for a country is not a big number at all. To put things into perspective, with that amount of money, you can build a power plant in the US to meet the needs of only 200,000 people. You might be thinking that they're not extracting to their potential. That's also not the case. For example, Niger is the number 6 largest exporter of uranium and they're the number 7 in terms of reserves. Their oil reserve is 0.009% of the world's total reserve and they make up 0.02% of world export. Same thing can be said for gold. What I'm trying to get to is their natural resources are not enough for the population and definitely not even close to be a life-changing money like the Saudis have. Now comes the real bombshell. They import 800 million worth of agriculture products per year and this is 2 times their total export. Let that sink in. If you add up all the things this country exports, it is not enough to meet the country's agriculture bill. Why isn't anyone shouting at the top of their lungs? Why are you not producing food? Forget natural resources. Support your farmers. You know what is worse? Niger imports 550 million USD worth of rice alone. Freaking rice! This is more than all their natural resources they can sell and then some. This here is the worst thing that France has done to this country. They changed their habit and their mentality. Before the French, the Nigerians used to eat sorghum and millet as their main carbohydrate source, which are easy to grow in the country. But after the French entered the country, Nigerian people picked their habit of eating rice, which is not an ideal crop to grow in Niger. But what is even crazier is that the Nigerian people and the military hate the French. But if you look at the second biggest imported product, it is military equipment bought entirely from one country. And you guessed it, it is France. I mean, they import 340 million worth of equipment nearly every year from their biggest enemy. That's the same value of all their natural resources exported in a year. Why is no one talking about this? By the way, I'm not even talking about the additional 400 million they paid last year on helicopters. And you guessed it right again, mostly from France. Some people might be saying, oh, but they're fighting terrorists in their country. To that, I can only say their biggest enemy is poverty and they should fight that first. Look, this game is very simple. If you spend more than you earn, you are bound to go hungry. And currently, Niger exports 446 million and imports 3.8 billion. So, my not so humble advice is fix this issue. You are importing nearly $1 billion of food. Fix this issue. You're importing more military equipment than your total natural resource exports. Fix this issue and stop diverting people's attention to issues that have minor impact. Also, France. Why are the countries you colonize always in a worse situation than other countries' colonies? It's your planet, own it.